Good afternoon, folks. We're here in Virginia, and I've got some questions I'd like to ask of Dale Gaiman from Three Generations Homestead. So, Dale, you've got a lot of sheep, but you have one named Cheyenne. Is that, what gender, a male or female?
So, Cheyenne is a ewe who last July had 4 lambs on our farm, gave birth to 4 lambs.
Woohoo, that's cool. So, now that we know the gender, we can call her a she. She's a ewe. How did she get her name?
Yeah, Cheyenne got her name because of an earlier sheep we had gotten from the shepherd that lives, I don't know, less than 10 miles from us. We had bought some sheep from him probably almost a year and a half ago, and one of those ewes came without a name. And Kendra has a Cherokee background in her, Native American, Indian background, and I thought it'd be fun to honor that and call this other ewe Cherokee. Well, then we got this ewe, Cheyenne, from the same shepherd, and I would not be surprised if Cherokee and Cheyenne are sisters or aunts. One might be an aunt to the other one, but I don't know. I couldn't get records on them, so I don't really know their relationship, but I'm sure they come through the same International Finnsheep Breeders Association, down the same generational line. But anyhow, so when I name my animals, I kind of like to give them names that somehow work together in a sense. And I already had one Indian name that started with a C, and I thought, oh, it'd be cool to name this one with another Indian name, Cheyenne. So that's how Cheyenne got her name.
Alrighty. Well, after you got Cheyenne, was there anything unusual about her? How long did you say you've had her?
I've had her right about a year. I meant to look up on my laptop in my sheep program to see exactly when I did buy her.
That's good enough.
But it's almost a year.
Alrighty. So, was she apart from the flock in any way?
No, she blended right in with the flock, especially with the other International Finnsheep Breeders Association sheep. Yeah, I didn't see anything different with her.
Okay, then. So we're getting to the crux of things, and that crux is, what's been going on with Cheyenne?
Well, about 2 months ago, one day, she just out of nowhere butted me on the backside. Just came up and butted me.
Oh.
Yeah, and I guess I didn't think too much of it. I've never had a sheep do that before. Even my Finn rams are not aggressive at all. As rams, you can go, we trust our grandkids going out in the pen with these rams, and they are not aggressive. They do not butt. Occasionally they butt each other's heads, like probably during breeding season. If we don't keep them exactly together when they're breeding. But, so I thought it was odd that she butted me. And then I started paying attention, and I realized that she was also doing things that reminded you of a ram. She would go up behind the ewes that she's in pasture with, and she would do that thing that rams do. The mouth thing where it goes open, close, and she sniffs around their back ends, and she very occasionally she would want to try to mount them.
Wow. That's very male.
Yeah, she started acting like a male.
Did you have did you do research or anything to
Well, I did a little bit of on YouTube, but I didn't find anything. I did a little bit on the internet and Google Pants. I really couldn't find much. I just didn't find much. But anyhow, I did see that occasionally. I did see that there is some gender identification with sheep, where some of the ewes will act. Some of them are bisexual, you might say, where they try to be both, and I think that's maybe the case that she's developed into. I think she's pregnant right now, and so in another 3 to 6 weeks we'll find out if she gives birth. I'll probably need to eliminate her from the flock eventually, because once we move there and the grandkids are there, I don't want a sheep that's going to butt them.
Right.
For their safety. Now, her butts are not that hard. It doesn't hurt me. It just scares me and makes me mad.
That's understandable.
That's what it ends up being, a scare.
Does she butt you in the back usually?
Usually it's in the back of the leg or in the butt area.
So you're not prepared.
I'm not prepared. And I am so paranoid of that it affects me when I'm in the field with her. I'm trying to protect myself with buckets in the back and watching over my shoulder all the time to see if she's coming at me.
Have you found anything that seems to discourage her?
Well, I'm a pacifist.
Yeah.
And I was finding that a lot of my reactions were not of a pacifist mindset, and it was bothering me. And so I would try to slap her in the face or put my foot up to get in the way so she couldn't come at me, because she would come at me with her mouth going. Yeah. And so one time I had a bucket of water and I threw water in her face, and that if I have a bucket in my hand, she's not near as likely to come after me now, because she does not like the cold water being thrown in her face. So so far that's been about as effective as any. Although when Odin, our livestock guardian dog, he's already been out there. He doesn't stay out in that pasture with the sheep all the time. Sometimes he's with the rams and the pigs and other places. But he's already come to my rescue when she's coming after me, and he gets in between us. And then she retreats. Yeah, Odin causes her to retreat, and then she stays away. So between times when Odin gets sticks up for me, protects me, and times when I throw water in her face, those are the 2 times that she is much more keeping out of my back end.
Yeah. Well, thank you for telling us about this. You have anything else you had on your mind about Cheyenne?
Well, I would just reach out if any of you shepherds or shepherdess who have had a sheep that does kind of what Cheyenne is doing. If you have any ideas, leave them in the comments.
Yeah.
You know,
There's a deficiency of any kind.
Yeah, you know, I wondered, you know, none of the other sheep are doing quite this thing, and I really don't want them to learn from her either. So,
yeah, for sure.
You know, yeah. So anyhow.
Did you have a vet out recently, and did he have any kind of response?
Yeah, well, I had the vet out for kind of a farm visit, and to check up on the sheep, and I asked him about this situation with Cheyenne, and his response was, "Well, she's not hurting anything, you know."
Except you.
Well, and it doesn't really hurt; it just makes me mad. But I explained to him about the grandkids and how eventually I'll want to move her on somewhere else. But the other thing is, I've been thinking too, after she has lambs, maybe there's an imbalance going on during this pregnancy.
Yeah.
And, maybe she'll straighten out after she has lambs.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm hoping, because I'm going to need to work with the lambs.
Yeah.
And she'll make it pretty tough if she's still in that mindset. Although, after she gives birth, she'll probably be okay for a little while, because she won't have a lot of energy. At least, the energy I've seen so far with my ewes is to make sure those lambs are okay. But anyhow.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, will we get to see some footage of you working with Cheyenne?
Yeah, you'll see it. I have footage. It's not as great. I don't, when I'm doing the chores like this and having Cheyenne, I don't keep the camera with me. Now, this
Right.
morning I did shoot some stuff with the iPhone, which was a whole lot easier than my YouTube camera. So maybe before I publish this, I'll get a chance to shoot some stuff with the iPhone, which is just, in my pocket. And I just slip it out. Where with the YouTube camera, so I have to put it around my neck, and I have to deal with it while I'm doing everything. And I'm not very good at that.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for sharing with us and you folks. As Dale had just said, we'd love to hear from anyone else who's had an experience similar to this with a ewe.
Thank you. Blessings.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.